Hey, what's up, everybody? So tonight is the 2020 U.S. presidential election. I know a lot of you guys are excited, and a lot of people are nervous, and there's emotions running wild. I hope everyone got out there and voted. And in this election, we are going to be determining if we are going to stay with the incumbent Donald Trump for another 4 years, or are we going to have a new president who is former Vice President Joe Biden. And in this video, I'm going to be giving you guys my prediction for this presidential election and giving you guys my thoughts and opinions on it. And also in this video, I'm going to be talking about some of the issues that are currently facing our country. So with that being said, I personally think that Joe Biden is going to win this presidential election. And the reason for that is based on polling data that I've gotten from 538, which does a composite of polls. And I feel like they do a pretty good job. And then also the COVID-19 pandemic, which has claimed the lives of over 240,000 Americans as of me making this video. And also, I believe it was just last week, we've had record numbers of cases or new cases in this country, and the economy is in the toilet right now. And a lot of that blame can be placed on Donald Trump, and a lot of people are angry over Donald Trump's mishandling of this pandemic and the economy. And also, he's a very polarizing individual. He makes statements that are they can even be construed. He makes statements that are, if you look at it, they're racist towards minorities, towards he makes sexist comments. He's had scandals. A lot of people in his administration have left and gone on to basically expose him or how he is behind closed doors, and it's just a lot of things that do not favor him during this race. And if you look at the polling data, Trump is, I do believe that in my state of Ohio, he's going to win because he's, it's Ohio I believe, is leaning Republican. It's becoming less and less Democrat. And then, but on the Biden side, I believe he's going to win Pennsylvania. He's up by 5 points. Michigan, he's up 8 points. And these are all polls from 538. North Carolina, it's a toss-up, but Biden's up 2 points. Florida, he's up 3 points. Nevada, 5 points. Arizona, 3 points. And even in Georgia, Biden is up 1.2 points. Now, a lot of people are talking about Texas. I do believe that Trump is going to win Texas. I know that there's a large demographic shift in Texas that will eventually cause Texas to go blue, but I do not think it's going to happen this election cycle. I do think not the next midterm, but probably the next presidential election or the one after, Texas is going to become a Democratic state based on the demographic changes. And then also, a lot of older white voters from the baby boomer generation are starting to, and I know this might sound morbid, but starting to die off. And as that generation is out the door and you have younger voters who want to have equality, social justice, and one thing that I think needs to be touched on more, but a strong economy, which under Democratic presidents, and I'm 27 years old, so I've been alive since the Bill Clinton administration. And out of the 4 presidents that we had, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, Obama, and Trump, half of the Republican presidents have always crashed the economy, and then the Democratic presidents have always had the economic times were always booming. Bill Clinton had the tech boom in the 90s. George W. Bush put 2 wars on a credit card and caused us to have the Great Recession because he deregulated the economy, and he believes in supply side economics, where if you cut taxes and deregulate, that it will somehow spark growth. But in the 50, 60 years since Reagan, this economic theory just it doesn't work. When companies are deregulated and their taxes are cut, they just hoard their money. And the best economic period we haven't had in our country was post World War II, where the tax rate was, or the corporate tax rate was like 85 or 90%. And what companies would do is they would reinvest their money back into their company, and uh, that grows the economy. And also, when you deregulate and you get rid of regulations, it companies can run wild, and there's no guards on them from doing nefarious things, or being tax cheats, or hiding. So there's a lot of things that negatively affect the economy with supply side economics. And with Obama, he was given a country that had 800,000 jobs being lost in his first month, and he turned that around, and um, uh, we had unrivaled job growth up until the COVID pandemic. So President Obama gave Donald Trump a golden egg, and he spoiled it. And with 240,000 people dead, and with Donald Trump not taking this pandemic seriously, I highly doubt that he's going to re-win this election. And the states that he won in, and I know a lot of people always talk about the polls were wrong in 2016. No, the polls were not wrong. He won in a lot of states that that he was within the margin of error, and then he lost in some states that he said he was going to win in, because in a lot of states it was a virtual tie, or there was some anomalies, but for the most part he barely won in a lot of states. In Michigan, they've had record early voting, and early voting favors Democrats. A lot of younger people are voting early, and we've had over 100 million people vote early during this presidential election cycle. So that favors very well for the Democrats. And I just think that the Democrats, though I disagree with them on a handful of issues such as their gun policy, and I think they should fight harder for a single payer healthcare system so we can be like the rest of the Western industrialized countries. For the most part, I agree with them on most of their positions, and that's why I vote Democrat for most of the elections. I always try to give everyone a fair shake, but based on policy stances, I'm just not in favor of voting for Republicans. And I feel like with Trump, he ran on being a nationalistic populist in 2016, saying we're going to bring all these jobs back. But in reality, those jobs are gone. Automation is taking over, and it's just, you don't need to have 1,000 people assembling a vehicle in a factory when you only need to have maybe, let's say, 200 people now. My second job out of college was in a car parts factory, and we were making the Jeep Grand Cherokee underbody assembly, and we were making 500 parts a shift. This massive robot line, and there was only like 7 operators a shift for that line, loading the parts in, and all these parts would basically converge in different areas, and they would spot weld all these parts together. But without automation, those, I don't know, like 150 something, 200 welds, that would take a lot of people to do all that welding. But now we have automation, and those jobs are just not going to be coming back the way people think they are. And but with all that being said, I know I sort of went on a rant, but whoever wins, whether it be Donald Trump or Joe Biden, I think that we as a country need to come together in this time of crisis and work to make our country a better place. And I hate when I see such political polarization from both sides. I think that you need to have conversations with people who are across the aisle from you. But at the same time, if someone is a bigot, it's you can have political disagreements, but when someone thinks that you shouldn't have the same equal rights as you do because of who you are, then there's definitely a difference there when it comes to versus just having a political disagreement. So it is what it is. That's my take on this presidential election. These are my predictions. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, and have a nice evening. Peace.